Wake up. It's time for Primal Scream.
Welcome back to the Primal Scream. I'm Matt.
I am Todd.
What was with the P symbol?
Deuces.
Oh, is that like late 90s, early 2000s?
No, it's like all the girls do like selfies now with deuces and duck lips. I think it's funny. But I didn't do duck lips.
As long as you're not taking yourself too seriously.
Or maybe I did do duck lips, you just can't see.
It's, well, thank God you can't see.
All right.
So anyway, today we're brought to you by It Works, Kathy Scullett, an independent distributor. And well, I'm not putting I didn't put her commercial on the front of this one, so that's why I'm hitting it now. And you can see it right here. It's very fun, very nice. They do wraps and vitamins and facial stuff and all different types of healthcare products. You can check them out. It Works at kathyscullett.myitworks.com. You also have, who I really, really like. Have you ever had Eco Lips on your lips, Michelle?
Yes.
God, isn't that great?
She's in the same building. I would hope she's had some Eco Lips on her lips.
Hey, just because you're in the same building doesn't mean you share the produce.
Oh, yeah. I'd go down there and drop a couple bucks.
Does it mean that?
Of course it does.
Do you have any Chuck Kavanaugh stuff?
We did.
I want to get a watch.
She will again soon. Anyway, ecolips.com. Wonderful product.
Wonderful
you can
people.
go to, you can do wholesale information. You can check all this stuff out. Great commercial by his daughter. One World Lip Balm is amazing. You can do customizable lip balm stuff. Todd, you don't have any, do you?
I do. I've got tons.
Do you use it all the time?
I do. When my lips are chapped.
But I don't use it when my lips are chapped.
I only use it when it's needed. Is that all right?
I found myself putting it on all the time. And then if I didn't know where it was at, I had a little almost panic attack. Like I would start to, okay, hold on a second. My One World. The cap is on. It's not upside down. Where's it at? Is it in my bag? Is it in my pants pocket?
I have Eco Lips in my car, in my desk at work, and at home.
Within arm's reach at any given time.
Well, I mean, if you're going to use a lip balm, it's, to me, the best, right?
Ecolips.com. Check it out. And you can create your own. I don't know how many millions of different
he said it was like
variations. It was crazy. Like 4.5 million.
Including like stickers and different containers.
Right, different labels. Yeah, almost endless. The other thing, last thing that we'll talk about is Sweet Raw Joy. I love Sweet Raw Joy. Desserts to live for, sweetrawjoy.com. It's all living, organic, non-heated up, non-dead food. Have you ever had any of that? You have!
Yeah.
I'm telling you nothing that you already know.
That's right.
That's why we have her on. She's going to inform us. She's giving us the shit. She's letting us know what's going on.
It's beautiful, wonderful desserts, and I'm gonna have to go down there. I'm gonna have to bring some samples to you.
You are,
because you haven't had any.
I'm skeptical,
and I've had.
I like
some.
my ambrosia pie from Hy-Vee. I'll shovel one of those bad boys in, cook it, kill it.
But it's
do what you gotta do.
It's not living.
You're
it's not
right.
good for your
gut.
gut.
I do want to try. I do want to try it.
We'll get them going on it. But anyway, sweetrawjoy.com. And you know what we got going on? Oh, one last thing.
Jeez Louise. Do it.
One last thing. Cards Against Humanity.
Oh, I thought you had another thing to do. All right.
No.
So we should introduce our guest first. So Michelle. We're so glad to have you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
She's not sure yet,
We'll see
but
what
we'll
we'll
find
she's
out.
a little. I think she's a little nervous.
You're the owner of the Illuminations Healing Arts Center. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Fantastic. And I love it because I have earthy friends, like I mentioned earlier, because we're talking about chakras, but I love walking in there because it smells good. I love going through there because it smells good. And I like that.
Forget all the other positive benefits.
I like totems
things,
too. I like the
good.
things that you can put in your pocket that remind you of things. You have lots of cool stuff like that too. So it's a nice shop and good books. I was looking through some books.
When did you go to that? When did you go to that place? Because the last time when you gave me a reading, would you call it a reading? Is that what you would call it?
I think, if I remember right. Was it good?
It was great.
Oh, good.
It was great. But I was still to this day, I'm still taken back by one of the things that you passed on to me. It still nags at me.
What is it? Don't say that and not tell us. What are you talking about?
The story of the older soldier who was in the room.
Oh, yeah.
Very angry, very, very powerful presence saying that it was a message of the people that he had killed. He believed in what he was doing, but the message was they are with you for eternity.
I remember that.
You do remember
I remember that now.
Is it kind of
Okay.
heavy?
Yeah.
I guess
That was
so, if you
pretty
guys both
intense.
remember it.
Well, Spirit just brings the messages through and then I forget it. I mean, it's not for me to remember. So
Yeah.
when people
Well,
say...
I'm sure you've seen a ton
and a lot
of different people. So.
I remember that now. Yeah, he was pretty
Interesting.
intense.
So
Yeah.
I have
Yeah.
racked my brain on who this could be. And it made me really super nervous because I went home and I started looking at all my Facebook accounts and not all my Facebook accounts. I have one Facebook account. But all my friends on Facebook to see if any had passed on.
Right.
So
Did you find out who it
no,
was?
I never did. And it could
That's
have been.
right, because you were really searching. You're like, I've got to find out what's going on.
It bothered me quite a bit
Yeah.
because I thought it could have been a handful of my really close buddies who I haven't really kept in contact with. And
Okay. So still don't know yet.
still don't know. So mainly that means that it wasn't one of my really close buddies.
Yeah.
Still sad. Of course,
Still,
somebody
but-
that I knew passed on. But anywho, that's a previous story. So
Okay, Cards Against Humanity.
Cards Against Humanity. I got the website up. Check it out right now. Cardsagainsthumanity.com.
So we're doing this as kind of like an icebreaker, and to prepare whoever's going to be on our show exactly what they can be prepared for in general. Mm-hmm. We're not that inappropriate, but we do like it's a little prep. I think a little
Yeah.
precursor to
Yeah, sure.
the elevator ride or roller coaster ride that is the podcast.
All right.
Or
So
am I going to go first?
why don't you explain the
Okay.
rules?
The rules are one person is going to draw a black card. It's got a comment on it. Don't look at your cards yet.
Oh, don't look at those.
Don't look at those.
Don't look at those.
But
It's
I'm
gonna
going to
be a
give you
surprise.
like a quote, and then you're going to see, and it'll have a blank in it, like so and so said blank to blank, and you'll pick an
A
answer,
response.
a response.
I can look at these.
Yes, you can look at those.
You'll pick a response, and you have to decide which one you think fits best. And so you can kind of play somebody. So you don't know us very well. We don't know you, so we can't figure it out. But like Kat figured it out like instantaneously. She really started working us both really bad. But so you can be funny, you can be gross. I mean, whatever it is you decide to do. But
Yeah,
the best
it's
part
really-
is this is the inappropriate
All right, I'm
question. Okay,
Yeah.
to see who goes first. Who had the last bowel movement? Who pooped today?
That's a rule.
It's a
That's
rule.
a rule on this website.
That's right.
Cards Against Humanity.
Mine was this morning.
Nope,
Not today.
not today.
It was this morning for me also, so it's between you and I.
You too.
Before I went to CrossFit, so
Oh, I'm
5:30.
definitely. I definitely go first.
You pooped before 5:30?
No. I thought you said whoever pooped.
First, whoever pooped.
That would be her because she did it yesterday. She
Right.
didn't do it today. It's her
So
automatically.
who
then.
had it last?
So the most recent one. Okay,
most
sorry.
recent one.
You're
So
right.
which one is it?
I
The most
apologize.
recent
No,
one or the furthest one away?
It's the most recent. You're right. I'm sorry. Sorry, I didn't mean to make it.
You know what? CardsAgainstHumanity.com. They try to make it easy for us.
but
Todd complicates things, doesn't he? Okay.
somehow I messed it up.
It's a twofer. It's a
Oh,
twofer.
I love a
So what
twofer.
this means is I'm going to read this, and it's going to be a blank, blah, 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 blank. So you'll pick two cards. The top card that you put down, face down, the top card that I pick up will be the first answer. Second card, second answer. So
Okay.
let's play along.
Okay.
Dear sir or madam, we regret to inform you that the office of blank has denied your request for blank. Dear sir or madam, we regret to inform you that the office of blank has been denied your request for blank.
Mine-
All right, I'm going to shut my eyes because that's part of the rules, I think. You're going to put your response over here somewhere. Let me know when you're both ready. And then
Michelle,
I'll
will you
read
be
it.
so kind as to slide mine over when you get done with yours?
I almost started doing the Jeopardy theme song last time. I thought maybe that'd be a bad thing, so I should probably come up with a different.
Can I play a song for you that I heard that was really cool?
No.
Yeah, I'm going to play it. Now that you said
Hey,
no.
well, are we ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Oh, okay. Here we go. That was actually a pretty decent beat that you and I were doing.
I thought so too.
Yeah, I'm glad we recorded it. Dear sir or madam, we regret to inform you that the Office of German Dungeon Porn has denied your request for the profoundly handicapped. I really have no idea what the Office of German Dungeon Porn could actually be against.
That's why I thought
seem
it was
pretty open.
Why it seemed like a pretty funny one.
Oh, okay. Dear sir or madam, we regret to inform you that the Office of Italians has denied your request for frolicking. Okay.
Oh, I like that.
All
It's
right.
cute.
That is
That's
cute.
what I
That's
thought.
hers. Yeah, that's hers.
Oh, I'm part Italian, so I can do
Okay.
that.
I'm not going with yours. I'm going with the German dungeon porn.
Yes.
Because that's the mood I'm in tonight.
Ew.
Okay, so
This is count scored, or
so whoever I pick, they get the card.
who said you get to pick?
Well, I'm reading it.
Oh.
That's part of the rules.
All right, so it's my turn now.
It's his turn.
Ready?
We're
And
gonna go around twice.
Let's
So
not do more white cards. Let's just keep what we have.
All right.
But before I kill you, Mr. Bond, I must show you blank. But before I kill you, Mr. Bond, I must show you blank. No grunting.
The other day, I couldn't stop talking like Batman. I was at work.
Horrible. I'm so glad I missed that.
I was at work, and I was like, "How you doing? I may not be the security officer that you want, but I'm the security officer that you need."
Sorry, I forgot to close my eyes.
All right, yeah. Close your eyes. All right.
I can just place them on my
No.
digits.
Nope. Open your eyes. I'm not handing them to you.
Well, I still don't know who did it.
I'm just saying I can't. Oh, maybe I could have.
But before I kill you, Mr. Bond, I must show you Gandhi.
He's still alive.
But before I kill you, Mr. Bond, I must show you Stephen Hawking's talking dirty. I like the Stephen Hawkins one.
Bing. All right. You are 0 for 2, young lady. You'll get
This is
it.
a tough
You'll get
game.
it. You'll get it. We know each other, so we manipulate.
I see.
Okay, that's part of the fun part. Okay, now it's your turn. You get to read a black card, and now you get to guess which one of us gave you the response.
Yeah, you can pick one. Yeah, go ahead and pick one.
She's like, well, I'm not reading that
I'll
one.
read that one.
That's pretty bad.
Some cards are just
Yeah.
that bad.
Yep.
Okay.
Dear Abby, I'm having some trouble with blank and would like your advice.
Okay. So close your
close your
eyes.
eyes.
Close your eyes. Everything's a secret. Everything's
Everything's a secret.
a secret. Okay, go ahead and open your eyes.
Eating the last known bison.
Okay, hold on. You
gotta read the card again. You gotta keep everybody with what we're
down.
saying.
Dear Abby, I'm having some trouble with eating the last known bison and would like your advice. That's pretty funny. Dear Abby, I'm having some trouble with being fat and stupid and would like your advice.
Now, those are awesome Matt Todd answers.
Awesome.
They are pretty good.
Well, of course, it has to be being fat and stupid. That goes with Dear Abby.
Thanks.
All right, that was a pretty awesome Dear
Black
Abby.
card. I'll take the black card.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, we're doing one more round. Are we good?
One more round. I mean, she just is now getting the hang of it.
Okay. All right.
Go.
So,
my turn?
Yeah,
Your
it's
turn.
your turn. Go ahead.
My turn.
We'll keep going clockwise.
Okay.
That's easy.
You're going to have to get her another black card because she's not reading that one.
I will give her mine.
Thanks.
Okay. In a pinch, blank can be a suitable substitute for blank. It's,
it's
a
a
twofer.
twofer.
It's another
Nice.
twofer. So in a pinch, blank, which will be the top card, can be a suitable substitute for blank, the bottom card. Let me know when you're ready.
I'm going to play this song for you while we're waiting.
Are we waiting specifically because you're trying to play a song?
No. Listen.
Why do I feel like it is? Why? Wait a second. Is this trademark or is this? You can't have this on there.
Yeah, you can. It's
Why?
the song I heard. It's okay. It's not used for promotional.
Would you shut that off? Shut it off. Shut it off.
Why?
Shut it off.
I can't decide.
You can't. We can't have any music on here that is not paid for by us.
But we're not using it to promote the podcast. I just heard this awesome song. I want to listen. Have you listened to it? That's not promoting ourselves with it.
It makes me too nervous.
Okay.
It did. I liked it. I'd love to listen to it afterwards.
Whatever. Your cards are over there.
Okay. Okay. All right. Here we go. All right. I'm going to pick Michelle's first. This is a 50-50 chance of me getting it right. All right.
Top card first, right?
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay.
Jesus.
Check it
In a
out.
pinch, sunshine and rainbows can be a suitable substitute for the American dream. Aww. Everybody out there listening to this right now,
So that must be Todd's.
yeah, everybody out there listening right now is like, "Aww,
Todd's a big
unicorns
sweetie,
are
Todd.
real. I love rainbows."
Double rainbow.
Okay, in a pinch, establishing dominance can be a suitable substitute for the female orgasm.
See, now you don't know.
Right.
Maybe that is Michelle's.
Now,
Could be.
I would say that if
be.
Michelle laid this card, she might trump Kat from last week. Because Kat did this exact thing. Not this exact, but she stumped me. I'm going to go, this is who I am. Establishing dominance, the female orgasm. Okay. I kind of had an idea that maybe the rainbows.
All right, here's the card that Michelle refused to read.
Okay. So we're still going to say it. She just didn't want to read it. Are you sure you don't want to pick a different one? Because she looks sick. She looks like she's bothered by
she
this.
She can give a nice answer.
Okay.
What did the U.S. airdrop to the children of Afghanistan?
Oh, that's not bad.
Yeah, it is.
You can pick a nice
it
answer
can be
though.
bad.
It could be.
I have a lollipop.
Probably will get bad.
I have a big lollipop on one of my answers. That would have been perfect. What did the U.S. drop to the children of Afghanistan?
All right. You got your eyes closed?
Rainbows.
Todd?
Yeah.
All right.
Good.
Hold on a second. No, we're not good. Hold on a second.
We're not good.
All right, go.
Good.
All right. Yeah, open your eyes right
Here?
there.
Okay.
Yeah.
What
yes.
are those two things?
I don't know. It's the white cards. Pick up the white cards.
What did the U.S. drop to the children of Afghanistan? Robert Downey Jr.
Because we don't want them.
What did the U.S. drop to the children of Afghanistan? Flightless birds. Oh, this is a good one because I'm stumped.
Because flightless birds, that's pretty jacked. You're just going to drop them? It'd be like dropping a turkey out of a 747.
Turkey's going to fly, though. I'm going to go with Robert Downey Jr.
Oh, that's me. She's 0 for 3.
Dang.
You
I'm very
tried,
good at
though.
this.
That was a good try. You tried.
I need better cards.
All right, you're our last hand.
All right. Yep.
Michelle.
All right.
Why can't I sleep at night?
Oh, perfect. No, you can't. You can't look. You can't look. Slap your hand.
All right, Michelle, there you go. This is it. It's for all the marbles.
This is for it's all or nothing right here. It was really between me and Todd anyway. The whole game.
Why can't I sleep at night?
Well, why can't you?
Some goddamn peace and quiet. Fiery poops.
That's so horrible.
Those are good. So I have to pick. Which
You have
one?
to
Gotta pick.
You
I
have to
have
pick
to
one.
pick.
Just know the deal.
We'll pick the some goddamn peace and quiet.
Yes.
Todd pulls it out at the end. Good job, Todd.
Good job,
I
Todd.
appreciate
Thank you for playing
Yeah,
Yeah, that was
Cards Against
tough.
Humanity. And if you want to get your own
tough.
game, deck of cards.
that. Please go
Cards
get your own
Against
deck of
Humanity.
cards. $25. Send you in a nice little box and
Or
everything.
you can download it for free. You can download it for free, or you can
Yeah,
get these
give them-
really nice cards.
Get them some money. They need some money.
Yeah,
Just
but
all
they're
that shit
great.
for
They're
free.
great. You can make your own deck.
Yeah.
It's pretty awesome.
I can't wait to get like the Christmas ones and stuff like that. Because there's a Christmas deck you can get.
But let's get down to it. Let's stop fooling around.
No more tomfoolery.
No more tomfoolery.
No more
I want to talk about
tomfoolery.
chakras. I want to talk about changing people's lives. So what's up? How do we do that?
Fill us in.
Yeah. Hey, look at this is what I did. This is how I'm going to change my life. 4,000 questions for getting to know anyone and everyone. Right here. I got a question for you. I'm going to lead off with this question. Are you ready?
I maybe.
If an activity does not result in progress toward a goal, is it a waste of time?
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Does every activity have some sort of purpose that it does result in a goal, even though it's not immediate?
I would say
think
yeah.
so,
Every
yeah.
activity
There you go.
does, right?
Right. So it's not meaningless. Nothing is meaningless.
That makes sense. I like that.
She could be a politician.
No,
That was a
thanks.
pretty good
No,
answer.
But I mean, that's true. I mean, no matter what, we talked. There's another podcast on our production company talks about behavior, and behavior is communication. And so anything you do is leading towards something, some kind of goal, whether it's a behavioral thing or it's a long-term goal. So I guess that makes a lot of sense.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Everything has a purpose, a reason for happening, and it leads
So-
you to the next step.
So I'm trying to pigeonhole you. I'm trying to put you in a category, which is probably a terrible thing for me to do. But I met you first because you had done a reading for me. I think my wife had heard about you. She went in for a reading, came back, said it was great, scheduled me to have a reading, went in. I had troubled dreams for a while. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't have troubled dreams. But it was very interesting. But I didn't know you did all this other stuff. And you actually motivated or helped Jennifer go into becoming a life coach.
Right.
Correct?
That's got to feel
Well,
good.
Yeah. So when somebody goes into the Illuminations Healing Arts Center, what are you giving people? What is all this? What is all of it? Are you still doing readings? What are you doing?
Me personally, no. I don't really do a whole lot of readings anymore. I will do once a week. I have clients, but the rest of the time is managing the center and creating the space. So I'm more out in the public, more doing things out at the desk.
And how did you
Managing.
transition from when I had met you to this place that you find yourself in now?
We needed a space for the community to be able to go to. A healing center where they could come and have all this different types of healings. A lot of people wanted to have a place to buy stones and rocks, crystals, incense, and then places to teach classes. So the community kept asking for a space, and so I think I either volunteered myself or everybody volunteered me to kind of front up the center, and so we just did it, jumped off the cliff and did it.
And you guys have a pretty big space down there. Is everybody put a little bit into the pie to pay for rent for that, or do you just do from sales that you guys do? How's that work?
Yeah, we really operate as a co-op, and so everybody pays a little bit of rent.
Nice.
Each room pays a little bit of rent, and then all the stuff that we sell goes into the pot, and the people that rent the classroom space, it all goes into the big. So we really operate like a co-op,
Okay.
so everybody has to participate.
Nice.
How many? I mean, it's a room with many different rooms in it.
There's like another hallway that's got rooms off of it, and there's the main store area, and then there's a couple rooms off of that as well, isn't there?
Yeah, when you first walk in is the store, and then off to the left are 2 classrooms, and then if you go up around the corner, there's a whole other hallway, and we have 8 practitioners' rooms down that hallway. So it's
When you say practitioners, what are they practicing?
all sorts of stuff. We have massage therapists, and then it goes into psychics, mediums. We have a lady, one practitioner that does the wizard stuff. She calls herself a wizard.
What's the wizard stuff? Can you tell us?
The wizard, yeah. The wizard stuff really gets into the magical side of life. It gets into the kind of how energy works on you, how things are affected onto you. So do you have an entity that is attached to you? Do you have a cord that is from you to another person, to a past life, to a situation that we need to cut? She does a real good job in the protection. So if something is going bad and you think that there might be something attached to you, then she does a real good job in taking that out or releasing that attachment. So it's more like the wizard stuff, the magic stuff. I know everybody says wizard; they think of Harry Potter.
I think of Gandalf.
There you go. It's more like Gandalf than Harry Potter.
Or the wizard from the Sword in the Stone cartoon from Disney way back in the day. I love that cartoon.
Yeah,
so
I never saw that cartoon.
It's the best. The wizards are really awesome in that one. I love him.
So would I be wrong by saying it's more like druid, earthbound type?
Well, I think a wizard's a wizard.
Yeah, kind of. Say, for example, if we go back to your reading, if I can use that as an example for that,
sure.
For that soldier that came through,
mm-hmm.
and he said the attachments of everybody that was killed were on him. So we would go to the wizard to try and remove those attachments, or to try and heal those souls that were still attached to him. Or
really?
To heal him to be able to release that energy or that attachment or that karma.
Huh.
Yeah.
Now,
awesome.
I like to consider myself a very open type of fella. I'm willing to listen to whatever, right? Do you ever feel like you run into somebody and you're like, not so much buying that there's a leprechaun in your purse?
Oh, all the time.
Yeah?
Oh, yeah.
You have a pretty good bullshit meter.
You can't just take her off guard like that.
No, I mean, that's what it sounds like. I mean, that's what you're talking about.
It's a total bullshit meter. Yeah. So it's not broken.
So you're saying when... No.
Well, some people are super open. They're like, you know what?
Yeah.
If I'm willing to believe that stuff, and I'm not saying it's wrong or not believable, but if I'm willing to open myself up to that experience, then why would I turn my back on this experience? It's just something I haven't been exposed to yet, or I don't quite understand. Mm-hmm. Kind of like I can't necessarily wrap my brain around what you do, or what this woman who calls herself the wizard, or they call her the wizard, however that works. I don't know how she does what she does, but there have been things in my life where I'm like, that is just too coincidental. It's too nutty. Because it was too right on. Mm-hmm. I might have had a reading. I had a reading, and a woman had told my wife and I that children would find us. Mm-hmm. And we ended up adopting 3 children,
right.
Years later. Right. And so when we would go back and revisit those sessions that we had written down, got some transcripts of, it just really blew our mind. So it's hard for me to acknowledge that, but then turn my back on something else that I'm like, oh, well, I don't know if I believed in that, but that was really right on. Okay, I'll listen to the leprechaun in your purse thing. What's going on?
Well, I appreciate you being open-minded. Yes, there's a lot of people that are not, and there's been plenty of people who have said, "I'll pray for you," and I say, "Thank you," because it's not going to hurt.
That really bothers me when people do that, because it's like they're trying to say something nice, but it really is done in a negative connotation sometimes. I'll pray for you. In other words, you're doing something horribly wrong, and I'll pray to Jesus that you're going to get it all worked out, or he'll work it out for you. So you're not really being a thoughtful, caring Christian. You're saying, I recognize and judging you that you're doing something wrong, and I'll see if I can pick you up.
Okay, but you are looking at that through
a cynical,
tainted lens, where somebody could say, "Hey, Matt, I heard what you said yesterday when you were at work, and everybody was laughing, and I just didn't know if that was appropriate. I'm going to pray for you." Well, you know what? I appreciate that. Thank you. Maybe I was being the worst version of myself that day. Who knows?
But I think that but I'm talking about in her context, she does things that are spiritual, but aren't necessarily. But a lot of Christians feel are the dark arts, and so I'm taking just that one comment to her. I'll pray for you as being a negative one and a judgmental one, based off their religion. But is that incorrect?
No, that's okay.
You need to
that's
talk
okay.
me. You knock me off the fence again. You need to do something. Kick me in the balls. Go ahead. I mean,
listen. Okay, let's just set this. We'll just settle this. You're always wrong. I'm always right.
perfect. That's all.
Okay. So, how do you deal with that? How do you? I mean, you're over 20. You've had some life experience, right? So, you've dealt with this side of life that not a lot of people have seen or experienced or embraced. So you've probably had a lot of doubters or people that are very skeptical and people that are very judgmental. How do you handle that?
If they're willing to have any sort of conversation, then you try education, explaining to them. If people just are afraid of what they don't understand, and so you try to teach them, try to educate them, and try to bring them to a place of awareness. And a lot of times people are okay to listen to that, and still they conflict within their own beliefs. Then other times you just have to put up your protection and just kind of walk away and say, well, I'm sorry that you feel that way, and you just walk away and end the conversation, because it's not going to get anywhere. It's just going to end up frustrating. So you educate where you can, and you just walk away when you have to. That's okay.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you for being thoughtful and open-minded.
Yeah.
That really pissed me off. Just thinking about
well,
it. Obviously,
Todd
it pisses
doesn't
me
have
off.
a whole lot of patience for some people.
I guess you know what? I mean, the hard part is that I have bumped in. Trust me, I know some people who are born again Christians who are absolutely wonderful people and never give me shit or try to save me or do all
Never
the kind
pass
of
off the judgment card.
Never do that. There's nothing, and then they, to me, are the epitome of what I think a Christian should be like. But a majority of people that I've met who are born again Christians are always judging me.
Right.
And so I do have a little bit of a bitter taste in my mouth, but I definitely recognize the ones who are thoughtful, loving people, that kind of are practicing what their faith, but I just have a hard time with the ones, because the ones who are shitty are really shitty.
Well, and to verify that, most of the people who do not like what we do are the Christians. You will never have a Buddhist or a Native American or a Hindu ever come in to the center and say, we don't like what you're doing and we don't agree with it. You'll never hear that. It won't ever happen. The people who say those are the Christians, the Catholics, those very to the Bible, very specific. This is what the Bible says. I'm not going to go beyond. This is what I believe. Those are the people that have a hard time accepting what we do. So it's kind of it's kind of difficult when we believe in everything and we're open to everything. We would never go into their church and say, what you're doing is wrong. We don't believe in you. I'm going to pray for you. We would never do that. But the people that come in are the ones that are the very much believing in the Bible. We've never had any other beliefs or any other spirituality or religions ever come in and say, I'll pray for you. What you're doing is wrong. So just to be fair, that's just what I've seen in the 15 years I've been doing this.
And that's gutsy, man. I got it all figured out. I'm going to go in there and tell that lady what's what. You know what I mean?
Do you think it's gutsy, or do you think people really struggle with the fact that, okay, I was told that I need to rescue anybody I can. I'm really nervous about this. Okay, I think there's a place where I might be able to save somebody. So then they go into a shop and they say it because they feel they have to.
I still think it's incredibly arrogant. I mean, they very well could have to build up the courage to do that because they've been told to.
Right.
But you again have to be super egocentric to say, I'm scared, I'm nervous, I have to go do this, but I do have it all figured out. I do have the right answer, so I need to go let them know. There is something tremendously arrogant about that. That bothers me.
Part of that is true. The other part is they are just going by what they were taught as well. They're just going by, they were instructed, this is what the Bible says, this is what, don't question. So some of them are arrogant, some of them are just going by what they really truly believe is good for them, good for Jesus, good for the rest of the world, So some of the people that say these things to us don't mean to be mean. They really are not rude, but they just really are, this is how you need to be saved, and this is what you need to do, and da-da-da-da-da. And then some of them can be rude.
All right, let me ask you this. How do you feel you are different, or what gives you the ability? Do you think it's a spiritual thing that gives you the ability to listen to spirit or hear that, as opposed to myself? Todd and I have tried really hard. We've tried to put ourselves out there. We've tried to put ourselves into a position to where spirit, or we went to a sweat lodge, and if anything's going to happen, this thing's going to run right, because we've placed ourselves in a good spot for that.
I don't think that I'm willing to allow myself, to be honest. You're saying
Really?
that, and I mean, I've done plenty of sweat lodges, and so I don't buy in. And so even though I've put myself there, I'm not sure I'm going to get anything from it, because I'm already not buying in. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't allow myself to I experience it, but I don't think I allow myself to be open to spirit. I think that's
okay. So
being in front of it is one thing. You're right. We set ourselves up pretty good, but I still go cynical as hell. So it's not like I really give myself a chance.
Seeing is believing with us, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So you're probably afraid of it. You're afraid of your own power. You're afraid of your own ability to.
Shit, I like that.
To be.
Well, yeah. I mean, who doesn't like to hear that they're powerful? I'm a little bit afraid of this power, and that power. But how do you help? Or has anybody ever come to you and said, you know what? I try to put myself out there. I try to be open to different experiences. I want to see when I live this life in this world. As of right now, I'm only educated. I only believe I have one shot at this. So I want to wring it out for every little bit of excitement that I can. How do you help somebody who is living that totally normal, mundane life, and how do you help them, in the immortal words of Kina, see the magic?
Yeah. Because she feels that's what's lacking. We don't recognize the magic in the world.
And Kina
and we lose
is
a piece of ourselves by doing that.
Yeah.
As a society, we're basically all shut down. Everybody's shut down by the foods that we eat, by the electronics that we play, by getting distracted by sports and politics. We're not in nature where we need to be. We're not eating healthy food where we need to be. We're not sitting and having real, true conversations like we need to be, like you guys are creating authentic space to communicate, which is awesome. We're not doing that. Everybody's on their cell phones, ignoring each other. So society is totally against creating the psychic abilities in each person. So we have to go back to the real way of living, right? And then we have to go back to being quiet, meditating, being out in nature, feeling your own feelings. Nobody wants to feel their emotions anymore, right? Everybody wants to, drink beer, or, I don't want to feel that emotion. I don't want to talk about, everybody says, no, let's not, And,
Well,
but we do. We go against our own nature. And so we ask, how can I be more spiritual, but yet I'm not living a spiritual life at all? So it's just a big conflict. Everybody has the ability. Everybody can be psychic. Everybody can connect. Everybody can heal. Everybody can. But it's the disconnect. It's your level of disconnect from your own self that either lets you how far off you are or how much in you are.
All right.
That makes sense. I had a therapist tell me once, because I don't really follow any certain religious or even spiritual way of thinking about things. And she goes, well, that's convenient for you because you don't have to lock yourself down at all. And I was like, yeah, I don't want to be locked. I don't want to be locked down. I don't want to have to this is the one. Now, I guess I can choose one way of thinking and still have the viewpoint of it's not the only way of thinking, I guess. But I always go back to that. When she said that to me, it struck me from, was it Good Will Hunting, where he goes, "Oh, that's great that you think that way. That allows you to never have any kind of relationships at all with anybody, you know,
It
kind of
allows you
situation."
right. It allows you to never grab a hold of your personal power.
Okay.
So
We have to come in. Well, we can hook up. It's a good thing. I mean, it's intriguing. You know what I mean? Because we think of ourselves as thoughtful people, but to recognize that I'm shut down in an area is obviously an area for growth. So I'm like, okay, well, maybe I should explore that more.
Yeah, you know, I'm going to dumb this down for everybody. It's kind of like, and correct me if I'm wrong, going to like a heavy metal rock concert one night, and then the very next morning you go in for your hearing test. And you're like, why is my hearing so bad?
Right.
Well, because you chose to expose yourself to the probably one thing that would ruin the next day's experience.
Right.
And so we're all asking ourselves, well, why did I fail my hearing test? Why am I not more spiritual? Why am I not hearing spirit? Or why am I not seeing or having this magic in our lives? It's because we are productively destroying the ability to have that.
Exactly. That's a perfect analogy. Exactly.
See?
Yes, you got it. That's right. You got it.
Doesn't happen very often.
We're too
Enjoy
busy.
it while it lasts.
Society has created such a busyness about our lives that we never stop. And you cannot hear spirit and you cannot feel spirit if you're constantly, from the minute you wake up to the minute you go to bed, constantly busy. Spirit comes to you in between your thoughts. Spirit comes to you through your feelings. But if you're refusing to feel your feelings, and if you're refusing to sit quietly for at least 10 minutes, there's no way that you're going to be able to hear spirit. We're too busy. As a society, we've packed our schedules with way too many things. We don't value sitting outside on the porch for an hour. Who does that?
And 10 minutes.
And you feel
10 minutes
guilty.
is nothing.
10 minutes is nothing. 10 minutes is nothing. And you really need to be quiet and listen to yourself. Listen to spirit talk to you. But you do it through your feelings. You do it through having your mind quiet. But who does that? Nobody does that. Instead, we have the TV on all the time, the cell phone going all the time. We're eating McDonald's all the time. All that stuff goes against our true nature of finding out who we are. So everybody has the ability. You just have to awaken to it. I was lucky, or maybe not lucky. I don't know. My very first experience of seeing spirit, I was 7 years old, and I say unlucky because it came through a very traumatic experience. My childhood was very rough, and I had at one point when I was 7 years old, we had a stepdad who would beat us up and lock us in the cellar. And when we were in the cellar, the angels would come and sit with us, and so it was an awakening through such a horrendous experience, the trauma that we had, but then something so beautiful came out of it. And I don't know if that was how spirit intended. I don't know, but it was after that moment that I could see, I could feel, I could know, and the angels were always there for us. And that no matter what happened, as we were getting abused by this stepdad. And after that, we ran away from him, and we were homeless, and we were in foster care for a while, and my mom got us back. It was a difficult childhood, but through that whole experience, through that whole trauma, I was able to hold on to spirit and remember the angels that I could see and know that they were going to be there with us. And they didn't talk like through their mouths, but they spoke with their mind, and they would say, you're going to be okay, no matter what happens to you. Even if you don't know how your mom is going to get your food, for that night, everything's going to be okay. And I just remembered that, and everything has been okay. And I was able to create a great community at the Healing Center from such a horrible experience. And that often is how spirit brings us to our awakening, as we go through traumatic experiences to bust us open so that we can receive spirit.
When you were talking about, you got to be quiet for more than, 10 minutes at least. I remember having some of the most profound thoughts, some like really bare my soul type of moments when I was in the military. Basic training, we'd go on 6 or 8 or 12-mile road march, and when you're told, you can't listen to radios, you can't listen to headphones, anything like that. And you're told not to talk. Yeah. So all you're listening to is, hundreds of boots stepping and the world. And there's nothing else. And so you get into these conversations with yourself. Yes. And you start thinking about things that you haven't thought about. Yes. And it was just a really huge eye-opener. So I get what you're saying, but not a lot of people get that. Because, even my own kids, if I were to look at my kids right now, there's not 5 minutes in their day where they're not bombarded with something. Right.
Or they're doing something.
Yeah, I mean, whether it's playing or school or getting ready for school or me telling them, let's go, you got to eat. We got to get going. If it's something like that, but there's never quiet introspection. There's none of my kids are like walking through the woods, just hanging out. Just saying that, it makes me think, I have a lot of friends that hunt. And they say some of the best moments in their lives are walking out in the woods really early in the morning. You can't say anything. You can't make noise. And you're just out there.
And you're sitting there for hours
in nature. Yes. Right. Quietly.
Yes, absolutely. That's a meditation. That's sitting, that's listening to yourself. As a father, then you will need to create experiences for your children to have that. You will need to say, let's go outside for a walk. Or what I tell my children, have you been outside today? Give me your cell phones. Give me your iPads. Give me your electronics. Give them to me. You're going to go outside for half an hour. And I make them do that. And at night, we'll say prayers and we'll meditate. In meditation, they're 11 to 12, so you have to be age-appropriate activities. But we draw a tarot card. And whatever card that they draw, or an angel card, or an oracle card, whatever deck that they pick, and whatever card that they draw, we talk about what that means, and then we say goodnight, go to bed. That's their time to connect and
kind of
allow
the ritual
spirit to
for
come
them.
Through. Mm-hmm. So you have to create all these experiences for the children because of the society that we have, and to teach them that that's not really how it works. Let's do it this way. And it's tough on parents, but we have to formulate that for them.
Well, and when you say things like tough on parents, I'm just like, well, tough shit. You wanted to be a parent, so you better do the things you need to do to make sure that you're taking care of them. Their mental health as well as their physical health. But life is busy. But still, that's always going to be a shitty excuse. Oh, I got this going on, or this is really important. Mm-hmm. Yeah. It'll always be a shitty excuse.
No. Right. Yes. No. I say no. One, because I like to play devil's advocate. And two, because it's not... I was saying no because it is a legitimate thing to think because we've placed so much on our plates. Because society, the masses, tell us our kids have to be in year-round sports. We have to manage that. We have to manage full-time careers. Not only do we have to manage full-time careers, but we have to have a second job on top of our full-time careers. And we have to be on Facebook, and we have to be on all these. So we have chosen to engulf our lives in all these things.
Right.
So then and then somebody comes up and goes, dude, that's a bullshit excuse.
Yeah.
I don't have time for this?
I don't think you proved your point at all, because I still think 5 minutes before you go to bed, 5 minutes with the child to say, hey, let's talk about the tarot card. Oh, hey, tell me about your day. Let's just do some quiet time together. I think 5 minutes out of what you've chosen to bombard yourself with or keep is a horrible excuse. I don't think you have any reason. I mean, it's the idea that fuck, it went right out of my head. I hate that.
But
you know what I'm saying?
I guess I know what you're saying, and I understand where you're coming from, but I think that we've all placed ourselves, the majority of us have placed ourselves into such a tight, stressful life.
That we think we don't have time.
Okay. And for somebody to go, if I were to come home from a long day at work and I had X, Y, and Z to get done, I had to, because something was happening either that night or the next day. And my kids are saying, Dad, can you just come in and lay with us? Can you just tuck us in? Guys, my day was horrible, and
it's not over.
Dad needs dad time for that 5 minutes. A dad needs dad time. So could you please just go to bed?
And I think that's a horrible excuse.
where has being so busy and packed jam full in modern society, where has that gotten us? As a world, as a nation, where has it gotten us? It's gotten us nowhere. So something has to change. Something has to change. We're killing people. Sorry, soldiers, but
it's reality.
It's tough. Yeah, that's a whole other thing. But we're killing each other, beating each other up. There's homeless. There's a big whole stupid fight about the NFL and getting that person who punched somebody. Why is violence okay? Why is violence accepted? So my point is, where has being so jam-packed full and busy and not challenging that and not saying this is not how we're supposed to live. If we don't ever challenge that, where are we going to keep going? If we keep going the way we are, what's going to end up happening? Where Mother Earth, the Earth is getting destroyed, our food is crap, the water is polluted, people are homeless, out of jobs, poor, sick, whatever. How is that okay? It's not okay.
And the reason why I'm so adamant about it.
I'll tell you why it's okay. Because Jesus is coming back.
The reason why I'm so adamant about it is that I know
he'll be back in our lifetime.
I know the excuses that I make when I'm saying how frustrating as frustrated as I sound by saying that they're all horrible excuses.
Right.
It's because I don't do it. I know that I could very easily take 10 minutes for myself and 5 minutes per my 2.5 kids at home. That's another 10 minutes.
2.5.
I'm just being silly. I mean, that 20 minutes in a 24-hour day that's going to do nothing but benefit me and benefit them. Anything else is a fucking horrible excuse. It's just that simple. And that's how I feel about myself.
Yeah.
And we're lazy. As a society right now, we're lazy. Everybody wants all these great things. Oh, I want to be spiritual. Oh, I want all the money in the world. I wish that there was peace in the world. But we sit on our asses and we don't do a damn thing about it. We talk about it.
She's coming out of her shell now. She's coming out of her shell now.
Well, this kind of stuff I'm real passionate about because it really does frustrate me when people ask, how do I make a difference? Well, here are the things that make a difference. Oh, but then they say, oh, but I don't have time. Or, I got to do this instead. Or, I don't think I can do that. Well, you know what? You can. Get up off your ass and get busy. But if you're going to sit and watch TV for 5 hours a night, don't complain about your neighbor being sick or you're frustrated with the person down the hallway or whatever it is. Get up off your ass and get involved. Do something about it. If you don't want to do anything about it, then keep your mouth shut and accept the condition the world is in.
There you go. I like it.
I totally agree with that. The only reason I said that it's an okay excuse is because I say it all the time.
Yeah.
There's things that you and I both know that we should be doing better.
Yeah.
And we continuously don't do those things.
And we had a lady named Jane Benson on. She's a hypnotist. And we talked a lot about the way we sabotage ourselves all the time. Right. And I wonder if it goes back to that not knowing yourself or not believing in your own power. I wonder if that's kind of part of that too, where you don't have to really discover too much about yourself because you're just going to fuck it up anyways. And so why take the time to discover things? Because it's, I can just see that vicious cycle in my head super easy.
Well, we're taught that our darkness isn't okay. We're taught you better be happy all the time. I'll give you something to cry about. We're taught all these things that you don't dare. What emotion are we allowed to have? For men, it's mostly anger. You're allowed to be angry and that's it. For women, nothing. You need to take care of everybody else. Don't complain. Be a good little girl. We're not taught that our darkness is okay. And it is okay. Our darkness, that we feel inadequate, that we feel angry, that we feel not respected, that we feel not good enough, our self-worth is down. Nobody ever wants to be really authentic and say, I feel like shit. Because it's not ever been appropriate, it's not ever been okay, we're not ever been honored. Oh God, if you're depressed, you better take medicine, you better get on antidepressants. Oh my God, you shouldn't be depressed. Really? Well, why should we not be depressed? Look at the state the world is in. Why should we not be depressed? So it frustrates me that our darkness is not allowed. So if you're afraid of your personal power, you just got to look at that demon right in the eyes and say, you know what? Then I'm afraid of it. I'm afraid of my personal power. And I'm going to walk through it and I'll figure it out and it's going to be okay. Going through your emotional pain is the hardest, toughest, meanest, cruelest thing you're going to ever have to do is walk through your own darkness because it hurts. It hurts to be able to admit that I'm inadequate in this way. I'm inappropriate in this way. But you know what? On the other side of it, what happens when we are okay with our darkness? All of a sudden, when you become okay with that, you're afraid of your power. If you honestly look at it and become okay with it, on the other side of it is those rainbows and sunshines that was on that card.
That I purposely did not
that you
pick.
didn't pick, my rainbows and sunshines. It's the going into the light after you walk through your darkness. Then that's the truth. Then that's your gift. Then that is where your light shines after that. We can't pretend and bypass and shove away our darkness. It doesn't do anything because then you sidestep it, right?
Right.
You're like, no, I'm not going to do it. I'll be over here. I don't want to see that. I'll be over here. Nah, walk through it. Be a warrior.
Own it. Say,
you know what? It's okay. And then on the other side of it, oh, there's my gifts, there's my light, there's my power. Hey, I'm good to go.
And is that what you feel like Illuminations can help people do? Is that one thing that you just hope to get people into a good path and get them directed in the right kind of...
Oh, we have people all the time that come in and just are lost. They don't know what to do. Constantly hearing stories about, one guy just came in last week and he was really, really nervous. And he said, my massage therapist sent me here and I don't know what to say. And I said, okay, well, what's the matter? He goes, I've never told anybody, not even my wife. I said, okay, what do you want? Can you tell me? What can you tell me? He says, well, I keep having these dreams. I keep having these prophetic dreams and my dreams the next day come real. I have dreams every night and the next day they all come real. And I don't know what to do. I've never even told my wife. He goes, but you know what? I had a dream that my wife was having an affair and I woke up and guess what? I found out she was having an affair. That's how I knew that she was having an affair. Then I had a dream that we were going to get divorced. And then I woke up and we got divorced. And he's like, I don't even know what to do with this. And so Illuminations creates a safe place for people that have these gifts to be able to understand them so they don't feel like they're crazy. So if somebody comes in and says, you know what, I think I have a ghost in my house, things are moving around, but oh my God, I can't dare tell my minister or my pastor because they're going to think I'm crazy, or I can't tell my mom or dad because they're going to send me to the loony bin, but I think there's something following me, and we create a safe space for anybody and anything to be talked about so that they can feel that, hey, it's okay. It's okay. Come in. You can talk about it. You can share it with us. There isn't anything that we haven't heard. I could tell you stories and stories and stories about things that have happened, crazy stuff that have happened. And so we do create that safe space for people to heal.
That's awesome.
It's interesting that you say that because when we went and spoke with Samantha Harris, the demonologist, she said she works with families, really worst case scenario stuff. Like if it's not worst case scenario, then she has to reserve her time for worst case scenario stuff like that. Mm-hmm. But do you think maybe things wouldn't get to that worst case scenario with spirits, with demons, with whatever, divorces, families falling apart, people losing their jobs, because we don't have that safe place to go to talk about stuff, to address it when it's still minor.
Right.
So only when you're in desperation and you reach out for what you even think probably is the crazy way to go, but you got nothing to lose now. You're at your wit's end.
Right.
We ignore all of the signs. We ignore all the little lessons along the way. And we don't really do anything until it's big, blown up, and too much to handle. But if we did take time to stop and listen, pay attention to the signs throughout, the little messages throughout the day that we always get. You're warned. Your spirit guides tell you and warn you and guide you all of the time, but we ignore them. Everybody ignores them all the time. If we were to stop to listen to them on a regular basis, all these big horrible things wouldn't happen. If we were to say, this is my lesson, this is what I need to learn, this is what I need to do, then they wouldn't happen. I've told people things that were going to happen, and I've said, look, this is what's going to happen, and you need to change it because it's not a good outcome, and they don't listen. They don't change it. It's too difficult for them to change. So then the event happens, and then they come back and want me to fix it. It's like, no. One was a young woman, and she was sleeping with 2 different men at the same time. And I said, you're going to get pregnant. You're not going to know who's the father, and you're going to get an abortion. And then you're going to be so upset and traumatized that you're going to be suicidal. And this is going to happen in 3 months. And so you need to change your course. This is your warning. You need to stop what you're doing. Sure enough, 3 months later, she comes in, shows me the picture of the 2 men, says, which one is the father? And by the way, I got an abortion. And can you help me? Because now I'm going to kill myself. Like, you know what? Why didn't you fucking listen the first time I told you? Okay. All right. What am I going to do now? You messed it all up. People don't listen.
The other day, I was at work. And I had a great day. I had a great day at work. There's 2 hours left in my shift. And I started having this very innocent conversation with my boss, my supervisor. And we're talking about people moving around. This person just put in for this job. This person moving from that job to that job. And I said, wow, it really seems like people are moving around a lot. You know, managerial people. Why are they moving around so much? He goes, well, because corporate, who he's gone down and drank the Kool-Aid, you know, he went to this other state to where corporate is at, had his little 3-week seminars, whatever, training classes, and he came back and he was a completely changed dude. And he goes, well, corporate really, they really try to, they strive to make sure that people that are in managerial positions don't stay in those positions more than 3 years. They want people to keep moving around. So when he first said this, he's kind of got a little gleam in his eye. He's got a little upward smile, like, at any moment you're going to stab me. You're freaking me out. You know, you're just so psychotic. You have this weird psychotic freaking look about yourself right now as he's telling me this. So my first instinct is to go, okay, let's go with it's totally normal. So do they want people to do this because they want, like, you know, people to have a better understanding of the overall process? You know, let's get you in a different department so you can have like an overwhelming understanding of the business. He goes, no. Because if you stay in this position, any position, for too long, you're going to start developing relationships. And if you do that, you're going to have a much harder time writing people up.
Yeah.
That was the main reason.
That blew your day?
Yeah.
It destroyed my evening.
Yep.
It destroyed it. And after he said this, I said, do you get what you just said? Because you got a little smile on your face. It's a lot. You're basically saying, I don't want you to have any relationships with anybody else that you work with. Everyone's just a number. Nobody's a person. It's just business. It's not personal. Do you understand how just evil that sounds? Mm-hmm. It's not human to say that. So when you say that, you remind me of a Nazi. So let's just make a really clear example.
Keep ourselves detached, have no cares.
I'm sure Hitler said, Jews are not people.
Yeah. Yep.
Right.
They're less than us.
Yep.
I want you to make sure that you don't see them as someone like yourself, because we're going to have to put them in the gas chamber. Mm-hmm. I don't want you to have a relationship at work because I want it to be easy for you to look at somebody and go, you're not profitable.
Yep.
You're not following the rules exactly. I'm pretty sure you read that memo that you signed off on 6 months ago, and I know we've had hundreds of changes since then, but you broke that rule, so I'm going to have to write you up.
Right.
No feeling. Detached.
Right.
And
that's the business model. That's today's business model. Not Steve Shriver's from Eclipse. That's not his business model. And that's why he blew me away when we talked to him. But that seems to be the overwhelming business model of today. Back in the 50s, the 60s, I remember my grandfather talking about, I love going to this, working for this company. It's a family-oriented company. I work with people that I've worked with for 20, 30 years. My supervisor started out sweeping floors. He knows every process in this factory.
and he has relationships with people. That's not the way it is anymore.
Because when you
some
develop
places.
a relationship with people, you open their heart space. My heart space is open to you. My heart space is open to you. Developing a relationship, when you start to care about people, who then has the power? Well, then everybody gets the power. There's nothing more powerful than connecting with somebody and somebody saying, my heart space is open to you. I care about you. I love you. The person that you are. And that gives the power back to the individual person and takes it away from the corporations, the governments. Instead of just detaching, closing your heart space down and becoming puppets, so to speak, we're not good citizens when we open up our heart space and care about each other. Because then your gift gets greater. When somebody cares about you and sees your potential, your gift gets greater. And then you become more powerful. And then you become a threat to...
Because you're not being that little robot.
You're not a good robot. Right.
Following the rules.
Right. Yes, you're realizing you have a choice. You're realizing that somebody believes in you. You're realizing that you have options, that you actually can feel something. And that's a huge threat.
You know, I relate a lot of this, what we're just talking about, back to basic training. When I was in basic training, and understanding, oh, well, that's okay. They have to break you down. Mm-hmm. They have to remove your personality.
Your humanity.
Yeah. They have to remove that and get you to a point to where whatever they say, whatever order they give, you immediately do it. You don't second guess it. Mm-hmm. You don't try to think about it with your heart. You don't try to understand the overall picture. I'm just going to do my one little thing. I'm not going to think about anything else. I don't care what that person over there is doing. I'm just going to do what he told me to do. It's okay. It's the right thing to do. Oh, I just stacked a bunch of Muslims up in a prison cell and took a picture of them with dog chains on. Mm. What just happened? Yeah. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that's what it seems like corporate lives are turning into. I don't want you to be somebody who thinks outside the box. I don't want you to be a personality. I want you to follow orders. Mm-hmm. Ouch. Scary. That scares the crap out of me.
It is very scary. But as long as we are talking about this, as long as there are people like us who are going to stay open and keep challenging that, then they can't win, so to speak. Because we're not going anywhere. We're not going anywhere. We're going to keep being open-minded. We're going to keep creating, educating, and we're going to keep allowing people to really discover who they are. So there's such a huge grassroots movement. There's such a huge spirituality movement that is happening that there is, at this point, no way that we're going to get stifled or shut up or getting taken out. There's no way. It can't happen now.
And I think they're deluding themselves too, because I would assume, or what has been seen is, when people are allowed to develop those relationships, they become more productive people. They become better employees. I think that's why Steve is probably so successful. I'm sure that's part of his business model. You make sure people are happy. I was talking with a friend about our production company. He goes, well, do you hope to have somebody working for you guys and doing stuff? I'm like, eventually we'd like that. That'd be great. And then I started thinking, like, wow, how awesome would it be not to have an employee, but how awesome would it be to have somebody that we're kind of like their livelihood? They're what allows them to live every day and have a job is us. That sounds it sounds awesome to me. And so I was like, going, I know that you and I wouldn't be like, all right, well, federal minimum wage is $7.25 an hour. We probably would compensate. So if we were happy and we were successful and we could afford to pay somebody $30,000, $40,000 a year to run the company and do all this stupid little shit that we don't want to do anymore, why wouldn't you pay somebody? It sounds exciting to me to pay somebody a living wage and not, oh, wait a second, I can pay this person this much and we can still pocket this much, without thinking it like in that kind of way. I like
the idea of, hold on a second. We'll get right back to you. I like the idea of our business as being kind of a co-op.
Yeah. That's a good way to put it.
Not so much.
That's what we're doing.
Not so much thought of as you and I run it, and we take care of all these little things, and we're going to prosper before you prosper.
Right.
I really like the idea. I'm not business savvy.
That's for sure. Me either.
I don't know how that stuff runs. I don't know how it all goes together. I don't know how the business model would be so that everyone feels like you're
invested.
You are as important to this as I am.
Right.
I don't know how that would go about, but that's my dream.
And you can keep dreaming that, because you can do it. At the center, we do operate as a co-op, and there is no hierarchy. Everybody is equal. Everybody is the leader. Everybody is the participant. Everybody is the healer. Everybody has a say. There isn't anybody that's, the president or the vice president or the treasurer or the secretary. I mean, that's old paradigm thinking. That's where you get into all the fights and the all this stuff. Everybody is equal, and everybody has the equal expenses are equal. The income is equal. Everybody participates. And so keep dreaming that, because it's such a neat, new spiritual kind of phenomenon that we're creating with these kinds of co-ops, because we're getting away from corporations. We're getting away from, I'm the boss and I have the whole say in everything. No, everybody has such great ideas and great opinions and great viewpoints, and it just makes the business flourish greater and greater, and everybody participates equally. So you guys can do it.
I'm excited.
Keep doing it.
Well, I'll play devil's advocate again. You got to have one. You got to have somebody that challenges you, right? So the overwhelming thought is going to be, well, if everybody has an equal vote, then you just have noise. Somebody's got to stand up. Mm-hmm. Somebody's got to be the leader.
At the end of the day, at the end of the day, there is somebody that is has to make the decisions. At the end of the day, there is somebody that has to make those decisions. If everybody has an opinion, nothing gets done. Somebody does have to make the decisions, but that decision is made based not on selfishness and not based on just I need to get more money, but it's based on the co-op as the group. So you have to have a leader, or you have to have somebody that sits at that helm that you can trust enough that says, and when I make a decision, it's for the betterment of the group, or it's for the vision.
Right. That leader has to be the one that's thinking that way.
Right.
That I'm not the most important person. I'm just here to kind of guide this ship, but we're all members of the same thing. I mean, I guess that was what you need.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Obviously you're the guide of the ship right now.
Todd
Who's
is equally.
I'm
just you know what?
We talk about it all the time.
Right.
So. I'm the face because Todd doesn't want to be shown. So I'm the face of this, but that doesn't mean that I'm any more important, because what you do is you bring in amazing people. People that make us think of different things and stretches the paradigm, changes it, thinking outside the box. Like it's almost a good thing what happened in 2008 with the flood, because what came about after the flood, what the Newbo area was before the flood is nothing compared to what it is now and what it's transforming into.
It was almost like the flood washed away things,
washed away the sins of the world.
No, I wasn't thinking that. But it kind of just kind of cleansed out the area. So it could be seen as a bad thing, or it could be seen as, we had a great opportunity now we're starting over fresh, a clean slate, so to speak. And how long were you? When did you move into the Illuminations
Healing? The Cherry Building?
Yeah.
2 years ago. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So we were not there before the flood.
Okay.
But you're right. I believe that it, after the flood, it created a space, a more spiritual space. It's that rebirth. It's that death and that rebirth. It's going through the darkness and then coming out.
There you go.
Seeing the light. And it, after the flood, it kind of the neighborhood was reborn into a much more creative, artsy, spiritual place. And so it was a perfect fit for us when we saw the Cherry Building and the space that was available.
It's really a great building. I mean, you walk in there and you feel creativity.
Yeah, and everybody, absolutely, and everybody is amazing. We have lots of artists and photography and just different, all different people in the Cherry Building, and everybody is so wonderful. Everybody is so nice. Everybody visits. You talk. You share. You connect. It's just an amazing place to be. We couldn't be anywhere better.
And I didn't know much about the Cherry Building, because I know all that stuff was down there before, and for whatever reason, I had never been down there.
Yeah.
And I've known Chuck Kavanaugh from Rise Above Leathers for a good handful of years, but it was more of like a casual acquaintance because he went to high school with my wife. but I don't know. I consider him a good friend now, you know, and I like just stopping in there and I feel bad sometimes because he's so busy and I'm like, oh, hey, I'll just go chat with Chuck. Oh no, he's got to make some watches and wallets. But it's just, I mean, I don't know. I feel very much drawn to Newbo Area, and we keep talking about having a space somewhere down, not necessarily a charity building, but somewhere down there, because we just feel ourselves being pulled down there and opportunity being down there. We just see it as like this beacon. I don't know. And I compare that to driving across 380 the night all the power was off in downtown Cedar Rapids, and it felt like the river was right underneath the highway. Right. And I was just like, it had kind of caught me off guard, like, oh, this is really horrible. This is really a bad thing. And then to where we are now, I mean, it really is that travel of darkness through a wonderful rebirth and light at the end. You know, I remember my mom was always saying, so is it going to be bad? And I was like, they say 10 years of recovery and probably $2 billion to get us back to where we were. And she's like, oh, so it really was a bad thing. I'm like, geez Louise, you watch the news? Holy cow. You couldn't get a boat on the river because it would suck you down so fast you'd be in serious trouble. You know?
There was a guy that I worked with who, he wasn't all there anyway, but he got in his little kayak. He was just canoeing around during the flood.
Oh.
During the flood, there's rescue boats out.
Yeah.
And he's like, just looking around, checking everything out. And he came into work. He was like, it was a really neat perspective. You know, he feels totally safe. He's in this boat, totally dry, checking everything out, all the devastation. The perspective of the world, you know, it's like a little kid all of a sudden growing up or putting your kid on your shoulders, and you're like, oh my God, I didn't realize it looked like this from this angle, you know. But he got yelled at by the police and told, "Hey, dumbass, get off the river."
And say it was dangerous. That's
it was super dangerous. Yeah,
we call it the Vortex. When you said that, I can't remember the word you used, but the energy of the cherry building was down there. We call it the Vortex. Then we on purpose create an energy vortex to try and create a neighborhood, an atmosphere of being open-minded. And so we joke about over at the market, there's all that grass area. Mm-hmm. And so we joke about that being the new Iowa City Ped Mall, right? Trying to create that atmosphere.
There you go.
Like, let's go sit down on the grass and somebody can play their music and we can just, take our shoes off. And there are people that do yoga in the park and Tai Chi, and it really is a vortex of energy down there.
Well, that they built that the accelerator building, right? I mean, who puts up a brand new, spanking new, sure, multi-million-dollar building?
You did find out that is the name of the building, the accelerator building?
I believe so. I don't know. I guess the accelerator is the main people in there, so that's why I call it the accelerator building. Sorry.
It's just south and a little east of the Newbo Market.
Right. But who slaps down a brand new building and then goes, oh, we're going to help people come in and become entrepreneurs and give them seed money and help people you would have never seen Sweet Raw Joy if you hadn't just happened to be in there one day when you met with somebody. Yep. So, again, it's going against that corporate norm that you're talking about, because nobody builds a building like that and then goes, let's see what happens and let's just start being creative.
Yeah.
You build a building because you have a business model and you're going to be making money and it's going to be paid off at this time, blah, blah, blah. I'm sure that's an aspect of it. But I don't feel that was their main goal and purpose for building that and having that there. It just doesn't feel that way to me.
Would you call the feeling that it is, and I would admit that it's like a breath of fresh air. It is kind of like getting out of the city and hanging out on a farm.
Yeah. Because
obviously you're not, but that's kind of how it feels.
Right. Creativity is what our soul is. It's who we're meant to be. So that's why it feels so good to be around creative people. That's why it feels so good to have new ideas and discover and explore, because that's the nature of who we are. We are meant to be creative. When we are being creative, our soul is speaking. We're allowing who we're meant. We're allowing our power to come out. We're allowing ourselves to express. We're allowing ourselves to be. And that's why it feels right. That's why it feels good. That's why it's like, oh, I like it down here. And I don't really know why, but it just feels right. Because it's who we're supposed to be. We're supposed to be the creative model. We're not supposed to be the corporate model. That goes against the entire grain of what our souls are. And so it works when we allow ourselves to step into our power, to be creative, and to share our gifts and be who we're meant to be. It works. It works. The abundance comes. The people come. I never had not one ounce of doubt ever that the healing center wouldn't be successful, because it's who we're meant to be. Spirit is supportive. Anytime that we say yes to our souls, anytime that we say yes to our gifts, anytime that we say yes to what we're being guided to do, it always, always, always works out and never fails. So when you guys are creating your business, you're saying, you know what, I'm feeling we need to do this. Follow that feeling. Follow that creativity. Allow it. And it's going to work, because that's how it's meant to be. That's how we're supposed to live.
I love it. I think that, you know what's great, Michelle, is that you don't sound kooky. You really, I mean, they're very,
Yeah, I mean, there's some people that we've bumped into, and we're just like, oh, what are you into? It just kind of, makes
we're being a little judgmental, but I think that you're becoming very.
You've met people that make you
right.
Yeah.
But your
smile comes on, and you can't wait to leave. Yeah.
That wasn't the smile I had when I came into your shop, was it?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Just kidding. No, you're very concise. I mean, and things are ringing very true with what you're saying. Yeah. So I enjoy your perspective.
Hey, real quick before we continue, if you want to, Michelle, I know you had to get going, or you could only spend an hour. I don't want you to be late for anything else, and feel free if you have to jump ship.
Tell us.
Just tell us, and we can walk you out, and then we can come back and finish the recording, because everything is editable.
Okay.
What were we gonna say?
I don't know what I was gonna say. I don't.
It helps to follow through with one thought at a time.
Yeah, well, I wanted to make sure that she felt comfortable. Like, these guys keep talking, and I'm pretty sure I told them
that never happens. It never happens that you and I just start talking,
and we just get carried away.
That never happens.
Yeah.
Yeah. She believes that for like 2 seconds.
Okay. I'm going to ask you a question from the book. It's a surprise to me as well.
You know what rang true with me when we were talking with Jennifer Murphy was the scientific proven fact that we are made of energy and stones have energy. Mm-hmm. And then she was talking about how she uses those stones in certain ways, and I'm sure you have the same thing kind of in your shop. Yeah. That is really intriguing. Yeah. And that's something that I kind of would like to know more about, because there has to, I mean, there's no ifs, ands, buts about it. We are energy, and those things have energy in them. Right. And the idea that they can help kind of, you said have your chakras aligned. I was being goofy, but I mean, this is proven fact that does work. I mean, that it's a true thing. So I mean, that's the part of it. I mean, because I'm so literal and I need to have things like, here's the facts, and there's
I need to see the proof.
I need to see the proof.
Can you show me a photo?
And I wish I wasn't like that, but that's just the way I think I'm built. But I like this. So when I heard that, I was like, it allows me. It allows me to believe a little bit more and more of the things. So if that's true, okay, I can be a little more open to some of this other stuff. Whereas you said in the past, I can believe this, but I can't do that one. You know what I mean? So I like that idea that these things are provable. It's beneficial for me. I know Rocky would say the same thing.
Have you ever played with a dowser?
Dowsing rod,
so it's the same premise, right? The dowsing rods are going to detect the energy, right, in the earth. You can douse for water or nickel or whatever it is that you're looking for, because the premise of Mother Earth having energy that you can calculate, you can put the Hertz machine on it and figure it all out. It's all scientific. Absolutely. So it's the same ideas in our body. The same idea is we have energy, and we have energy centers. So you can take a dowser, what's called the pendulum, and you can take it over the chakras, and you can see which one is open or closed based on the way that the pendulum is spinning. It's just like you're dowsing for water. You're dowsing the energy in your body. So it's called the pendulum. It's just a stone on a string or a chain, and you can use a necklace, can be a pendulum. You guys don't have anything on.
I don't. We're not jewelry.
No.
Yeah.
I'd be afraid all my chakras be closed. Hey, Jim, it's
You're
all closed up.
Dude, you're dead. Nothing is
Something
wrong.
like this, I can take it off, but something like this can work. But all you're doing is you're just holding the stone over the chakra, and it's going to spin. And it's going to spin one way if the chakra is detecting open energy, and it'll spin the other way if it's detecting closed energy. So it's all scientific. It's not going to move if it's not going to work.
And so, but energy is constant. It's whether you're open to it or not. Is it the premise or the idea behind it?
But you don't have any control over it.
No.
Right.
Your energy is there all the time. Absolutely.
Now,
Yeah.
is this kind of the same premise? Like, I've seen women do this. When I was young, I have a lot of aunts, and they got pregnant all the time. They would take like a needle on thread, and they would put it over the wrist or somewhere. And if it went one way, it was a girl, or if it went like this. Do you remember ever seeing that?
Is that because boys and girls give off different energy?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. So
Have
there's
you-
some truth to that.
have you
Yeah.
never seen that?
I've seen
You have
that.
seen
Yeah,
that.
I have seen that.
Okay, but that's kind of like what you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
I wonder what the probability rate is on that. I would be curious to see how many ants were like, yes.
I think
And then
my
it
wife was saying, and my wife's a labor and delivery nurse, so this is kind of funny. But every time she's done it, it's come to be true. That's what they have.
Because
Okay.
energy doesn't lie.
Right.
It can't.
It's the truth and a constant.
You can't fake it. You can't make it up. Just like try to make up an emotion. Try to feel something. You can't force yourself to feel something. It just happens. You can't force your energy to be something. It just happens. So it doesn't lie. There's only truth in it. You just have to know how to detect it, read it, see it.
Oh, I have dated some ladies who acted like they were happy. But then
But
they
if you could
weren't,
feel
so-
the energy
Yeah.
behind it, you would know that.
No, I felt the energy, and that's why I was like, "Are you sure you're
Yeah,
okay?"
exactly.
No, I'm fine.
Yeah, we say that a lot. Women are good at that.
Because you don't look okay.
Yeah.
You look like you're about ready to
And when we
stab
say
me.
that, you're in trouble.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, God.
Okay, so
Most feared
let's
words.
say I went into your center, the Healing Arts Center.
I love your webpage. It's beautiful.
It is nice. And I went in there. I was like, "All right, listen. Can I get a tune-up? Can people go in and get tune-ups?
Absolutely.
Like I kind of feel like I'm in a bad place, or I don't feel like I'm in my optimal place, or maybe I am, and I just have really high expectations." People can be checked out. Check out your chakras.
Yeah, we can check the chakras to see what's open or closed. We can see if there's anything attached to you. Maybe negative. You could have picked up negative energy from people at work that you maybe brought home. And you, when we pick up negative energy from people and we're not aware of it, we absorb it into ourselves, and then we start feeling bad, and then we think it's us when it's actually not. It's actually something that we picked up on that just attached to us. So we can see that. We can see if it's a particular lesson you're going through that you just have to learn how to deal with, and then we can clear out the chakras, get them all spinning and appropriate again, getting them all open and cleared out with the use of stones or essential oils or energy work, and it's all open and good. Hey, here's your homework. This is why the chakra was closed, or this person at work, he kind of is sending negative energy. You need to be careful, or maybe you have a ghost in your house that you need to kind of tell it to go away, or maybe you have unfinished business with Grandpa on the other side, and he's coming through and he needs to say something. You don't know. So we kind of can clear out those chakras, align them, then kind of give you a kind of an overview. This is what's going on right now in your life, and this is what we recommend for you to work on so you can get back on track.
Do you ever feel like, I'm being bombarded? There's too much. I see too much. I hear too much. This guy walked by and you put negative energy on me, and I mean, you're taking in all of it because you are trying to be quiet and listen to spirit, and you're trying to be aware. And do you ever get overwhelmed by that stuff?
Absolutely.
Do you think that's why it's easy for the majority of people to say, "I don't want to deal with it"? Okay, great. What can I watch on TV? Oh, Jackass is on.
Right.
It's
Because that is a difficult thing to live with.
Absolutely. Being fully aware and fully conscious is a burden at times. You see things that you would rather not. You see things that you can't say. You know things that you're not supposed to know. And a lot of times you have to stay quiet. And a lot of times you see something that is just so irate, or you know something and somebody looks at you and just flat out lies to you. And you know the truth, and you know what is the truth, but they're continuing to lie. But how do you say to them, I know you're lying, and this is really what you want to say? I mean, sometimes you just walk away just so very frustrated. And then there's a lot of times people say, hey, Michelle, can you teach me what you do? Can you teach me how to do that? And I say, you really don't want it. You really don't want to do this. You really don't want to do it. And that's why not absolutely right. That's why only, I don't know. I don't know if it's everybody that's a healer has to be a warrior at some point, has to learn how to have strength, has to learn how to handle the darkness. I don't know what that qualification is. I don't know.
Is that why you step back a little bit and you just kind of run the center and you're not doing readings anymore and things like that because it's kind of overwhelming?
One of the reasons, yeah. I got frustrated with people coming to me either for entertainment, which I refuse to do anymore because that's frustrating. I'm not here to entertain you, I'm here to give you valid information that's going to make your life better.
Right.
If you don't want to do the work, don't come and see me. Don't waste my time. So that was frustrating. People got lazy. As a society, people want a quick fix. Hey, Michelle, I'm going to come see you one time. My life's going to be better. Like, no, you got to do the work. I'm going to tell you, but you got to do the work. I can't do it for you. So it is frustrating. I pulled back for that reason, and then also because I needed to create the healing center and kind of guide it. It's like a big ship, and somebody needs to be the captain and run it for a while. I'm not always going to be in that role, but for now, until I know that it's going in the right direction, the way that I want it to, the way that the vision and the spirit shows me, then I need to put my focus there. But it's not always where I'm going to be. So, but you're right, it is a burden, and people really have to get to be a warrior. People really have to be strong and say, hey, we can do this. But there's a kind of a spiritual warfare that's happening, and I'm not talking about, demons against angels, or there's some people can call it that. I'm talking about the genuine, practical, authentic, this is who we're supposed to be as humans. This is my spirit. I deserve to be free. I deserve to have my open heart space. I deserve to be whatever religion I want. And everybody needs to respect everybody. There's, that we just deserve that. So we have that going against, like you said, the corporations or the darkness or all these things that don't want us to be powerful. And we have this but against each other. We're fighting this. It's like the spiritual truth of the soul of who we are is fighting against all this darkness and people who want the greed and the power and the control. So we continue to do it anyway. Every single practitioner at the Healing Center, there's not been one day that we haven't cried or we haven't said, oh my God, can we do this? But then we say, well, we have to. There's no other choice right now. There's no other choice but to be a spiritual warrior that says, you know what, I'm going to keep fighting. I'm going to keep fighting for you. I'm going to keep fighting for you. I'm going to keep fighting for the rest of the humanity because this is it. This is make or break it time. We need to do this. So you don't have a choice. There's some nights you just lay in bed totally exhausted, like, oh my God, what was I thinking when I incarnated? Really? This is the choice I made? But any one of us, any healer, anybody that does this work, you don't have a choice anymore. You know too much, you see too much, and how dare you go and sit and watch TV for 5 hours when you know you got freaking work to do. So get up off your ass and get to work. There is
you really like that saying,
absolutely.
don't you?
So you do not have a MediaCom subscription.
No, I do not.
Okay. You know what this?
But then you can't watch E.
Yeah. Let me.
The Kardashians are on
what you were
it.
just saying really reminds me of a book. Where this was it Spirit Runner? What is it? It's the beginning of. It's the very first book. Once he put the two books series together, the shortest Sword of Shannara series. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
With the demon walker, running with the demons.
Mm-hmm.
Running with the demons.
Mm-hmm.
It was that very first book had this idea of civilization as we know it. We're getting further and further away from who we should be and what makes us human. And it
will end. It will crumble.
And so there are these people, kind of like yourself, if I dare say that, this warrior, this person who puts themselves out there and is not living the normal social life because they're trying to fight back this darkness, this thing that they're watching everybody else just consume themselves with. Like, oh, this is going to make me happy. This fast food, I don't have time. It's going to fill that void. Yeah.
Exactly.
It's a good way to put it. Because
running
night,
with the demons. Read the book and then listen to this podcast again. You're going to be like, oh shit, that's that parallels.
And he's the same thing. He at night when he goes to sleep, say in our world, when he wakes up, he's in another world and he's still doing what he's doing, but it's in a different plane. And so he never really rests. So when he goes to sleep in that plane, he wakes up in this one and he's back to work again, and it never really ends for him. And he talks a lot about in the character
What are you talking about?
The character in the book.
What book?
Running with the Demons.
Oh, the guy that's kind of crippled with the staff.
Walker, yeah.
Okay.
And so it sounds like he's always looking he's looking forward to the time where he can just rest. So he can stop doing it, not because he needs it. It's just like, you can only do this for so long before your body gives up and your brain gives up. And
which, doesn't that remind you of when she said,
yeah, no, it
sometimes
does.
You just collapse on your bed and you're like, oh my God. We had a conversation. I asked Todd a very deep question after our podcast with the demonologist, which was, if you could choose to be fully aware of it all and accept it and see it nonstop all the time, would you? Because it would answer every question that you have. Is it real? Is there something else out there? Or is this it? What's the answer to life and death? You would see it all, the good and the terrible. Would you choose that? Or would you say, I kind of like ignorance is bliss, and I kind of like watching E, and I kind of like sitting on the couch, and I kind of like thinking that when I'm laying down with my wife in our private time, nobody's there watching. and Todd said, no, I would rather be aware of it all. And I thought, you're fucking crazy.
No.
Because that would be...
Why would you choose to be in the dark, though? That sounds like such an odd choice.
Then you're half dead.
There you go.
But you're half dead.
I know, but you just said it's so hard. And for a lazy person like myself, I see that as, man, you can't catch your breath.
But when I die and I meet Spirit, and Spirit asks me, did you do everything you could? Did you do everything you could to make the world better for your children? Did you do everything you could to help your fellow man? Did you do everything good to create peace and joy and harmony? What am I going to be able to say? Yes, I did. Or no, I decided to watch TV.
Okay, you got me on that one. Thanks for throwing out your trump card. Yeah, my ex-wife used to say stuff like this. She would say, okay, are you going to say to yourself on your deathbed, geez, I wish I would have played more of that video game?
Right.
Or are you going to say, gee, I wish I would have spent more time with my family and my wife?
Because we know better, we have the right to do better.
That should be a T-shirt.
Shit, yeah.
Have you now at the Illuminations Healing Arts Center? Do you guys sell T-shirts that have really profound messages like that on it?
No, we have Illuminations T-shirts, but the chakra symbols on the back. But we could make some quotes
I like
on it.
that.
Maybe.
That's a great quote. I really, really liked that quote.
Okay, so did you write it down just now?
I'm pulling up my sticky notes so I can type it.
I'm thinking I'm going to have to just listen to the recording when I'm going through the editing, going, oh,
yeah,
that's it.
That's the one I really liked.
Those people, I call them the half dead, and the half dead people actually are, because they're not doing anything about anything. Are they making the world a worse place than the people who are doing evil? The people that are doing evil, at least they're doing something, right? At least they're challenging people.
At least they're not slackers.
At least they're not, yeah.
They're off their ass.
But the people, right, but the people who are sit and see the evil being done, but sit and don't do anything about it, are those the people that are actually have the huge potential to make a change, but are not.
All right, so I'm going to change it around a little bit, and correct me if I'm wrong. What you just said? So it's kind of like the Germans who sat back and saw what was happening and knew what was going down and still said, I'm not going to fight the darkness.
Right.
Well,
I'm just going to let it happen, and I'm going to let somebody else fight my fight.
Martin Luther King said the same kind of thing, didn't he? If you're not part of the solution, you're part of the problem.
But are you worse than the problem? Are you, in fact, the problem? Right. Not the darkest, not the evil thing that is happening, but are you the majority, the actual problem? Because you're the ones just sitting on your ass. There's always going to be this 1% or this 10% of the population that's doing something really completely fucked. And there's always going to be somebody who's going to be fighting that. But the majority is just sitting there. So who is the biggest problem?
Right.
Sure.
And I think it's the majority. Because is there value in the evil that they do? The value is that they wake people up. The value is in, look what happened September 11th, right? 9/11.
Right.
It was because of these evil acts that people actually woke up. A lot of people woke up and said, oh my God, what is it that we're doing? What's going on here? If that evil act hadn't happened, how many people would have still remained silent and quiet? You see? So the evil still is doing something, rather than the majority who does nothing.
And we've talked quite a bit on this podcast about how complacent Americans are,
Yeah.
especially. And if there's one thing that 9/11 did, it's like, you know, don't you realize that you're in a pretty great situation, you know, maybe, and, you know, you might need to wake up to what's happening in the rest of the world and who's controlling things, and you might keep your head up about the NSA. I mean, it wasn't just the NSA. I just mean like in general, you know, government. I should say government.
Right.
Right. Right.
Do you ever think, if I could change something, if there was 3 things that you could just, like I Dream a Genie, change before you pass on and actually see and speak to spirit face to face, what would those 3 things be, do you think? What's like your passion that you want to see done?
That's a good question. I would wish that there would be peace. Nobody would kill anybody anymore. I would wish that everybody could open their heart space and actually feel things. And I get a third one. Oof.
Yeah, because I mean, those first 2 are pretty.
I would wish that we could sit in more happiness and joy. I wish people would dance more. Wish people would sing, laugh, enjoy. We don't have enough joy and happiness. Everybody is so easy to and quick to be a victim, right? You hear stories all day long about, oh, I complain about this, complain about that. Does anybody ever actually say, hey, I went on a motorcycle ride yesterday. It was the best, awesome experience that I ever had, or it was the best motorcycle ride of my week, or whatever it is. Who talks about their joys like that, the way that they talk about their complaints? Who does that? We need to do that more. We need to have more joy, more happiness, more compassion. So dance more, sing more, do more motorcycle rides, do whatever that makes your heart sing. Do more of that. And that creates that joyful, open, compassionate heart space. I don't know if I answered your question, but...
Yeah, I think you answered it pretty good. Do you like motorcycles?
I have a motorcycle.
Yes.
The movie, before I talk about my motorcycle, the movie The Giver is what you're talking about, that choice between staying shut down and staying open. It's out in the theaters now. Everybody needs to see it.
The Giver.
The Giver.
It's a book. You probably read the book when you were in school. But
Yeah.
I doubt it. I didn't read.
Yeah,
no,
it's
it was.
about
I think it's a requirement for like junior high.
Okay.
No. Nope.
Okay. Everybody needs to see it. It's about a society that has shut down. You take a shot in your wrist that takes away your emotions, and there's only one man in the society that has the memories of the people who do have the emotions, and he has to train the next person, the next young man, to have the memories. So he is giving all the memories to this young man.
This is the trailer for The Giver, right?
And that's his, Yep. So that's what happens when we shut down and become half dead. And then this one man says, no, we need to wake up again.
Hold on. You can't have the guy from the Hunger Games being the giver.
Is that the guy from Hunger Games?
It fits well, though.
Oh, it does, though.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. He's giving him the memories of emotions. He's giving him the emotions right there.
There's something missing from our lives. Something that has been stolen. When people have the freedom to choose, they choose wrong.
Whoa. I'm glad that we're having this podcast because I never would have given this movie the time of day.
Oh, everybody needs to see it.
It's a great book. The book is awesome.
Yeah.
The Giver.
Yeah.
In theaters now. Check it out.
They take away our emotions because they say that we make the wrong choice. when nobody has their emotions, everybody is all the same. Everybody's a robot. You don't do anything. But this one man allowed everybody to have their emotions back. And everybody needs to see it. I can't talk any more about it because I'm going to spoil it. But everybody needs to watch it.
And read the book. The book's not it's not a very long book.
No.
And so it's a nice, easy read.
Yeah.
You could probably do it in a weekend at work.
I can
Get to
read
read
complex things too.
I wasn't
can read
saying
difficult
that.
things.
Right.
I wasn't assuming that you can't. You read much more complicated books than I couldn't read Harry Potter.
That's
you
right.
read Harry Potter.
That's right. I can read complex things.
So don't be so defensive.
That doesn't make me better. You probably need to get going, don't you?
Yeah, my kids are home and they are waiting for supper.
Whoa, I'm starving.
Michelle,
Servitor.
thank you very much for coming in today.
It's been great.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's been
and
fun.
we will have you on whenever you want to come back on and you're like, hey, I got something going on at the Illumination Healing Arts, or somebody joins or something.
So we have the psychic fair coming up.
Okay, Psychic Fair, Friday 26th.
So unfortunately, when you're listening to this, the fair will be over.
Oh,
But we can't because we won't be posting this.
No, this podcast that we're recording right now will be
On the 22nd. I'm sorry. Hey, make sure you go enjoy the
Yeah,
the fair.
it's not over.
It's not over.
It's about to happen.
I'm totally wrong.
Friday, September 26th from 4 to 9 p.m. $15 for 15 minutes. You get intuitive readings, medium readings, psychic readings, tarot card readings. What's singing bowls? What's singing bowls?
What's
The
Tibetan
Himalayan,
bowl?
yeah, the
Oh,
Tibetan bowls,
cool.
and she'll play them and then lay them on your body,
Oh,
and it's like it's awesome,
like a tuning
it's
fork kind of a thing.
Yeah, it's like sound therapy. It'll go
How neat.
right into your chakras. Oh, it's amazing.
I've heard of Reiki healings, but what is Reiki healing? Yeah.
Reiki is originated from Japan. It's an ancient Japanese tradition, but it just means universal life force energy coming through the practitioner, coming through my hands, and then onto you as a client.
Okay. Okay. And then chakra healings.
Aligning the chakras.
All right.
Yeah. Or photography.
Aura, oh my God, aura photography. I was just, when you said chakras, I was thinking, okay, now I want a before and after photo of my chakras. If it would be so great if I could actually see
That would be pretty cool.
my chakras and, oh, that one's not doing so well. It's too bad the pelvic one is so bad. But after my chakra healings, and then you have a photo and report. What's the photo and report thing?
Oh, that's she can print out the aura photo, and then the report explains the colors in the placements of where each thing is in your auric field. So you're going to have different colors. You know, the color on the right side is different than the color on your left side, and it explains it all. Explains why and what they mean.
Who was the photographer back in the day that first started taking photos of auras?
Curlin,
Curlin.
and it's Curlin photography.
How you spell that?
Kirlian, I believe.
Lian.
Curlin. If you type
Oh, yeah,
Curlin
right here.
photography,
Okay.
it should show up. Yeah, there you go. And you put your hands on the kind of electronic nodes things, and then she takes a picture.
Like that?
Yeah.
It's gonna kind of.
You place your hands on that, and then you'll get a picture, an auric picture.
Oh my God!
It's around your head and shoulders is the one that she has.
I'm totally doing this.
Yeah, like
One,
that.
it's awesome. It looks awesome.
Like those guys on the,
I can turn around, right? Because you have the screen.
those people. Yeah.
What?
Those people down there.
Like
on the-
this?
Look at that.
Yeah.
It's the hands. Look at that. That's neat.
Yeah. Yep. So
Is
that's
it?
what
So
she
is it?
does.
Is it photographing energy?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's gonna kind of look
So
like
it's like
this,
that.
maybe.
Mhm. Yep.
I want that pot leaf one, man. Get that back up there.
Now listen. That's how.
mushrooms and the orange.
That's how I want mine. That's how I
sick.
want mine to look right here. This one that I just pulled up.
With
This
something coming
this
out of your
one.
brain.
I
Yeah.
want.
You're so far off from that.
She's honest.
I'm just
brutally
saying. Yeah,
honest.
she's brutally honest. But I'm just saying that's what I wish.
Yeah,
that would be an
that's
awesome
a wish.
thing, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll have to go down. That'd be kind of fun.
All right.
Oh, the 26th.
What?
It's a Friday evening.
What's
bummer.
wrong? What's wrong?
I'll be gone. I won't be.
Well, I don't care.
And Amos Lee is playing in Iowa City on the 26th too.
I work, but I'll. What?
Oh,
time-
you'll be done.
What?
Oh, I don't know.
From 4 to
Friday
6.
4 to 9.
4 to 9.
You get to
I
go.
can do it.
I don't get to go.
Can I make a reservation?
Yes, you can.
I should totally make a reservation.
I want to get my aura photographed.
Well, you're out of luck, Jack
Mine will
Wagon.
be black. Mine will be like a black light.
Now,
No.
do you subscribe to any type of drugs?
No.
No mushrooms, no marijuana. Nope. Oh, I'm not saying do you do any, but do you think that
Impedes?
good word
You bet, buddy.
impedes our relationship with the divine, or do you think it could be used as like a gateway?
If you use it occasionally for that experience,
Yeah.
it can be beneficial. But if you're using a drug every single day, that's a coping
Okay.
and not as a medicinal.
And there's other ways to reach that
Right.
connection with spirit.
Right. Yeah. I don't do any of it. I tried marijuana, and I don't like it. It doesn't affect me. It doesn't really do anything to me. I don't understand why people like it, because it's like, I must be doing it wrong. And they're like, no, you're doing it right. I'm like, this one, nah. Can you
I'm
do
with
it
you.
wrong? Can you do it wrong? Because you can get that feeling, the feeling that people describe on marijuana. You can get that feeling walking in the woods. You can get that feeling meditating. There's other
5
ways
deep
to
breaths.
5 deep breaths. There's
Really?
other ways to get that feeling. So you don't need it. No, you don't need it. People use it to cope, and that's fine if they need it to use it to cope. But it's not a thing to use. There's the ayahuasca. There's the peyote that the shamans in South America use, but they use it again for on purpose. They do a ceremony about it. They do it once in a while. It's not an everyday experience.
Right. Because the ayahuasca, that puts you through
It's all
a horrible experience. I mean, your body, you're
Yeah.
vomiting, you're having explosive diarrhea.
Yeah.
Your body is reacting to this.
Yeah. Yeah. I've never
But-
done it. I don't want to do it. I don't think it's necessary, but
I'm really excited about this because you know what? I'm not going to I'm not trying to put myself out there like, oh, I'm so wonderful and open. I'm a shithead. I'm one of those shitty people that's lazy. I am, but I try to be open enough that I wish I was the person, the person, the type of person that I wish I was would be more along the lines of this. I wish I could make that transition. I wish I could go down that journey if I knew how, and I wish I could hold myself accountable
you
to
can.
do that, because it seems like such a richer experience of life. Because what you were talking about earlier with owning your darkness and saying that's okay to be depressed and all this stuff, and in my mind I'm thinking, and that's why the Christians don't like you, lady. That's why. If you're wondering why they're praying,
Right,
that's
right.
why. Because the only person who can take away those demons and help you through that is somebody else, not
right.
you.
Right.
It's the exact opposite.
They're teaching us that we don't have the power, and that goes
Right.
totally against.
And you should feel ashamed
yeah,
of all those things because it's sinful.
yeah,
But if you face it and you accept it,
it's very powerful.
yeah. Well, anyway, I didn't know if you didn't know that's why they were praying for you, that's why.
They can pray for me. It's fine. I'll pray for them too.
But that is a really cool thing. September, Friday, 26th, 4 to 9 p.m. And you can call ahead and make reservations. And you know what? Here's the phone number, 319-775-0117. The Healing Arts. www.illuminationshealingarts.com. That's so cool. I'm doing that.
That's awesome.
awesome.
Doing that.
So jealous.
You should be jealous because it's a fat thing that I'm going to be doing. That's
Well,
sick.
I'll enjoy the Pacific Ocean as well.
All right, so you can get back in nature, and I can see what's wrong with me. I'm going to get pictures. I'm going to get pictures of
probably
my
need
chakras, and they're going to be like old raisins. They're going to be
Winking in and out of
they're gonna
light.
be like, they're going to be like 40-watt light bulbs on their last leg. I want that 5,000 water, but it's not going to be that way. I'm trying to keep my expectations super low, so that if they're anything better than total shit, I'm going to feel like, yeah, there is hope. I'm not as bad as I thought I was.
No, I don't think you are.
There's something there.
All right, so we should say goodbye.
Yeah,
we should end
we
it.
should let it go.
All right, we'll let her go. Anyway, thank you very much. Go to
Thank you.
the Illuminationhealingarts.com. Check it out. Make your reservations for Friday, September 26th. Absolute pleasure.
It was a great
Absolute
time.
pleasure.
Thank you.
I wasn't
Enjoyed it.
entertained because you're not an entertainer,
No.
but you did illuminate.
Drop some knowledge.
Yeah,
for
and
sure.
I really enjoyed our conversation. So I hope we can do it again sometime.
Absolutely.
Todd,
What?
how could people, what are all the different crazy ways people can watch us, listen to us, contact us?
You got it.
Drop the hot knowledge.
tpspproductions.com is the best way to get a hold of us and see us. On there, you will see the Primal Scream podcast. It's part of the TPSP Productions family. On there, you also see a new podcast called the Count to 10 podcast. The Bandwagon podcast will be on there very soon. Also, if you can, while you're on there, you can like us on Facebook, on our Facebook page. You can follow us on Pinterest. You can click on the link that sends you to iTunes and to Stitcher if you want to listen to us in just straight audio form. Also, you can go to TPSP Productions YouTube website and you can watch the podcast there and listen as well. A lot of people that I know pull up another tab, start the podcast on YouTube, and then go to another page and start to work. And they listen while they're doing their stuff at work. So a unique way of doing it, but pretty smart. But that's probably the best way to figure us out. To see us, hear us, love us.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want to say. Thank you very much to It Works, Kathy Skull, independent distributor, for supporting the podcast. Thank you for all these small little businesses in the Newbo area that are cool and refreshing. And if you haven't been in that area and you are in the Cedar Rapids area, check out the Newbo district because
It's a bright light, man.
it's a bright light in a dark time.
It's a
and
vortex of
Yeah.
love and peacefulness.
Yeah, and if you want, check out the Wizard. Because I think it's going to be, I think that's an experience I wouldn't mind checking out.
Exactly.
She can come and do a podcast with you.
Ooh. Shit. Wizard. I'm kind of scared now. When I was at arm's length, I was okay. Now I'm not sure.
Well, you know what? It would be it would be kind of interesting though, just to see. You know, when you were saying she checks you out and sees like if you're connected to something darker and how can we separate you from that dark. That would be a really interesting experience. Like if there's a person that I know that I used to work with, extremely negative person, extremely. And it almost, in a way, it almost felt like there has to be an asshole connected to this guy, making him feel horrible
Could be.
all the time. Not just at work, but people would run into him outside of work, and they wouldn't even have contact with him, but they would observe him being an asshole to just anybody. And I would feel so terrible for this guy. And who knows, maybe he had some asshole spirit connected to him.
Good.
I would have to assume that if somebody's that angry all the time, they've got something else going on for sure. It takes a lot of energy to be that angry all the time, man.
Yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
You know?
So, you can see all of our videos, the Count to 10 podcast and the Primal Scream podcast. And like Todd was saying earlier, the Bandwagon podcast and the Coffee Clatch are going to be on there soon. So, hope you guys enjoy that. We're going to let Michelle go. Thank you very much for being here once again. And
Thanks, Michelle.
Todd,
Thank you.
I'll see you later. I'm Matt.
I'm Todd.
Thanks.
Adios.
Good night. How was that? Is that all right?
Is it okay? Thanks for staying a little bit longer. That was nice. Oh, Chinese sounds good.